bottom, or at least a pretty high potential of losing both lanes. Okay, well, never mind.
They could still do what you're saying, though. They can run the
Yes.
puck safe lane, they can roam the Enchantress, and they can run the Morphling EO mid.
Yeah, I think Enchantress is... she's alright. The thing about Keeper Light is you need to be able to get up in his face. You can't just let them do whatever they want from long range. Drake can stay way up in front, Keeper Light just blast whoever he stuns. That's your worst possible situation for NAR. So if you have heroes, if you have creeps that can just wrap around and go on Keeper Light, we used to see Clockwork a lot, we used to see Lifestealer a lot in order to deal with the Keeper Light, just so you can close the distance without fear of really taking that much damage while getting to him, then should be okay.
This draft from NAR on a few fronts. One is Enchantress, Morphling, EO, if they do run the dual lane mid, which I'm thinking they will, can actually threaten to kill TA with the Enchantress as the added threat. And the other thing is Keeper the Light, if you just run a lane, like a dual or tri-lane against him, you're just going to lose that lane if he's got a strong supporting duo, which he does in Mirana.
Why would they ban Timber? That's unusual. I think Timber's like okay for North American rejects, but I think they should be more scared of, like, let's say a Clockwork. I think is way scarier.
Yeah, it doesn't match up hugely well against any of these heroes.
They need a setup for the relocate, I think. And usually we'll see heroes like Bat Rider, like Nyx Assassin, sometimes even Bounty Hunter, although that's out of favor. Puck is alright, but I think the offlaner should be a good setup for the relocate.
Has NAR been running a lot of Timbersaw this event? There was the Smash Head game where he got like 20 kills on Timber, but it was against slightly inferior competition.
They might have run it a couple of times, but I casted a lot of No Earth Spirit games, not NAR, so...
You're a resident No Earth
Spirit. 10 seconds remaining.
I know what Half-Right Eggroll has played.
Team Liquid's turn to
I think it's 6 Centaurs and 1 Invoker, but that's not the question. And Liquid, going with X last. Wow. X. So X versus 0 melee heroes, X versus pretty heavy magical damage, and even some pure damage from Enchantress is a little bit unusual. Bulba does like running the hero a lot, so this may give Liquid a little bit more flexibility in their lanes, but I don't really think X is a terribly great matchup. I mean, these heroes do have fairly low HP pool, so you can chop them down in theory, but that's... there are plenty of other heroes that
So looking like safe lane X, aggressive tri-lane Mirana, Cuddle, Wraith King, and then TA mid.
Yes, but
it's weird to pick X, like, not knowing who you're going to lane against is the one thing.
5
Teams pick X, they know there's going to be a Nyx off lane, even maybe Clockwork off lane. Shut down, and, well, NAR will go into the Centaur. So their pick-off potential is very scary now. Can they win the laning stage, or at least emerge intact, is the main question.
I think they should be okay. It's fairly difficult for Liquid to rotate mid without eyes on North American rejects. From North American rejects, rather. So I think you just need to get an Observer Ward up in the bottom lane, make sure that Mirana and Wraith King can't mess with the Morphling and EO in middle, and after that they should be okay. Centaur matches up alright versus Axe. Enchantress will do the job of trying to control mid and bottom, and Morphling will just be getting his farm. I don't really see too much trouble for NAR if Liquid does lanes that predicted lanes.
Are there any, like, different ways that Liquid can look to lane this? Anything unconventional? I mean, we're talking about aggressive tri-lane, safe lane solo X, TA mid. They couldn't... Could they run dual lanes? Is there a... Do they go defensive?
I don't think there's anything that stands out to me that would
be strong.
Significantly.
Okay.
I mean, there's, of course, you can dump, like, solo Keeper off lane or ridiculous, but hello.
Hey guys, Conrad's just getting his feet wet here. Fire Conrad. He's already leaving. Well, we'll introduce the teams now. On the Radiant side, you've got Team North American Rejects, looking pretty solid. The last time they faced Liquid in a major match, they took the win there. So we'll see if they can do it again. Liquid on the Dire side, NAR on the Radiant. They'll break the trees already. Maybe looking for some early stacks. We've got Fog playing that EO, and the Centaur being handled by Brax.
Buddy.
Liquid already 5-man to the enemy jungle. We could have a big confrontation. They'll be wrapping around NAR. Heading towards the high ground here. They'll meet way too head on. No, they'll back off. 14:37. The Fool does not want any part of this. Alright, so they're going to ward the Enchantress's jungle, and wonder, do we see NAR just look to dodge? Maybe they send the Enchantress top, maybe they adjust their lanes a bit.
I suppose so. I think they should have kept one hero over here, just in case, because they needed to see whether or not NAR warded the large camp. They saw them come up the hill, and they saw that they didn't actually place this ward over here, which is to the southwest of the rune, to block the big spawn. So if she knew she could have access to the big spawn, I think they don't have to dodge. But since they don't know, they probably have.
Let's introduce the teams. We've got North American Rejects on the Radiant side, the Centaur being handled by Brax, as mentioned, on the off lane, 1437, the Fool on the Enchantress, Snake King handling the Morphling going mid, we've got the Wisp being played by Fog, heading to the jungle. That does put Korok on the safe lane puck, so as mentioned, they can run the dual lane mid, and that is in fact what they will look to do, but Liquid, bit of a change of pace. They're going to run dual lanes, Way 2 handling the Wraith King, TC on your Mirana. Looks like we could have some action in the dire jungle, potentially mid. Pegasus or Demon on the Keeper of the Light, trying to defend his own jungle. That puts Quakefa onto the solo mid TA up against the dual lane, and well, Demon already under heavy duress here from 1437, taking some pot shots. And the top side, we've got the Axe being played by Bulba. So Axe versus Centaur, that's the one piece of very good news for Liquid. That is a matchup they should feel pretty good about. But I like this move by NAR. They know their jungle got warded, and they're just going to look to dodge.
Good scouting by them, and their first
bottom lane, potentially we have some aggression here. The puck's gonna... Nice phase shift. Korok, he's awake.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing he needs to do is dodge the stuns, and it's pretty much Way 2's job to just constantly pump Fate Cast to make sure that it's not easy for Korok.
Yeah, bait out the phase shift.
Yeah, it's easier said than done though, and Brax actually playing pretty aggressively on Bobo. We may have first blood here.
Oh, there's a stomp as their follow-up. In comes 1437 with the clap. The net's there as well, and well, he pops the Berserker's Call, but where's he going? Bulba to the trees, down he goes. First blood going the way of NAR. Off to a very strong start, and again, this move by 1437, I think mostly strong just because they spent some time warding his own jungle, but hey, it has the added benefit of having a decent ganking matchup against the Axe.
He doesn't even have to smoke either.
The thing is, Axe thinks like that's an easy lane for Axe 1v1. He will win that heavily, but with the Enchantress as the +1, it's not so easy.
Let's see if he can contest this 2-minute spawn. I think he probably should have just chilled here because they don't really have... Enchantress can't just run into the opponent's jungle with this Axe and Coddle just constantly scouting them out.
So Snake King, who's had kind of a hit or miss tournament, he's been playing the Morphling. We've seen him on a lot of hard carries recently, Shadow Fiend, one of the other big ones, and you know, he either goes hard or he goes home, and off to a good start with the last hits, running a dual lane mid. Do they have any kill potential here on the TA?
Really? Maybe if they get a really good rune on Fog.
Oh, bottom lane. Looks like they might be diving the Fog. Pretty low is Korok. One more right click. No, not enough. But Korok is under pressure here. A missed phase shift could definitely spell his doom.
Luckily, he still has a Lizard Orb if he wants to dodge, so we'll hopefully see that into play soon. And 1437 just chilling, waiting for the 3-minute spawn on top. No Wildkin, I think that's probably be the best creep for him right now, since Pegasus is just merely sitting behind Bulba.
So far, a fairly static laning setup, mostly just the Enchantress. The big thing is she just dodged the Radiant jungle, went aggressive, and has been putting a bit of pressure on the Bulba, found the first blood, tried to shut down Demon's pulls a bit, and just generally keep the pressure up. It's been fairly effective so far. Nothing too unusual outside of that. The lanes are pretty much as expected. Morphling's farming well, TA's farming well, Mirana is as well. And I guess the one thing is, does 1437 look to move around? Is he happy just keeping pressure up top? Does he look to go mid, threaten the TA more? I feel like they could get a kill with the Enchantress, but they will need to smoke because there is an Observer Ward there on the hill.
Yeah, he hasn't used his smoke yet, but it's still a very difficult kill on Quakefa. I don't think they have any TP scrolls on the supports on Liquid. There's actually a smoke on the Wraith King himself. He's wrapping around on Korok. He only has mana for 1 stun, but Korok looks like he's going to be okay. In terms of Liquid's draft, I don't really think they have any ways. We've seen the Elder Titan before. He's decimate Morphling's armor in the later game, but they have some lockdown, a lot of physical damage, and nothing that can really chomp through his HP while he's in the field score. Maybe like a lucky thing, but no silences.
Ethereal Blade feels very strong this game. There is not much to punish it. I mean, realistically, there's like... Yeah, maybe honestly, like you say it like it's a joke, but if it does go late, I think they got really clutched on this game because they're lacking for magic damage. There will be an initiation mid, it looks like, and they're gonna dive, looking for Quakefoot, but he pops the refraction, will be okay. In fact, Snake King's the one who's driven back. Posting up on this TA, but lacking damage over time, they just can't really kill him.
1437 has finally moved back to his own jungle. Looks like he's just stacking up for good old snaking. Triple stack right now, Satyr, Furbolg, and Centaur.
Continue to stack the jungle, mostly for the Centaur, I guess. And Centaur, in terms of farm, he's 22-9 in this offlane. So not only do they get the first blood, but this is going to be a fast blink for NAR. That's the setup. You've got your relocate, pretty good mobility from the Wisp as well as Morphling, and with a blink dagger, Keeper of the Light is food. Mirana, maybe not food, but if she gets caught by the stun, will die. And well, these other heroes are fairly durable, but there's at least 2 good targets.
So Demon's actually not very high level and not really doing much in terms of CS or stacking, which is something that's a little bit unusual from his Keeper Light play. He's been under a lot of duress from the Enchantress, always scared of him, and he could die at any time, especially if she has 2 creeps. So he's playing appropriately safely, and they don't really have eyes on the top jungle. They have eyes on saving Quakefoot in middle, and looks like it's just a one-on-one on bottom, so it's the laning from NAR is a success.
It seems like, yeah, the game plan from NAR is basically, we know Liquid just has been running aggressive tri-lane and 2 solos, and crushing the tri-lane and at least breaking even in the 2 solos, but this game, NAR mixed it up. They ran the dual lane mid, and they ran the aggressive jungle Enchantress, and it's thrown Liquid off. Should Liquid have adjusted their lanes the way they did? Should they have tried to force the aggressive tri-lane? Was there another laning option? Because it seems like they're off their game because of these unusual lanes from NAR.
There wasn't really a great laning option. If they put Axe in bottom, I think he's way too vulnerable to an Enchantress, and Enchantress is smoked up behind the T1, but so are Liquid.
Wait, 2's got the level 2 stun, and this looks to be the death of Brax. Potentially, no, the Enchantress army's here. Never mind that. Illuminate will come through, just splashes him, and well,
Demon's almost level 7 too, which is pretty absurd for an offlane.
He did get the 1 gank top, but yeah, that considered, you run the Axe safe lane, you're expected to do well against Centaur, but that early pair of boots, Rain of Regen, and just the threat of the Enchantress showing up has made the difference.
So Liquid did draft TA on Dire, notorious for being able to do Roshan very, very early, but NAR I think is one of the better teams at contesting a Roshan.
Oh, Coil bottom lane, TC's gonna get caught by that, in comes the orb! And Korok finds the kill.
Stampede, not necessary.
Yeah. It was actually on cooldown there. Snake King. Oh, I don't have audio. That's the Quakefoot retreating out. We'll see the orb splashing through a bit, but
so Fog's actually doing pretty well on level 2, so level 5 on him. Keeper of the Light still sitting at level 3 and Wraith King at level 4, so Liquid support is generally viewed a little bit more greedy than the other ones, and I don't even think Fog has been stacking too much.
There was a potential move down bottom from the Wraith King, but we'll back off for the moment. There's a Radiant Ward spotted now. It doesn't have a smoke. Won't actually commit to this.
Brax almost has his blink, so 1755 gold on them. This is a pretty scary time for Liquid. Their Centaur's about to get blinked, the relocate's about to be online for EO, and combine that with TA not really having anything, she's probably going for a minus, so that leaves him very vulnerable in the early stages of the game. Axe is 1,000 gold behind Centaur in terms of his quest for blink, and Mirana doesn't actually have that much farm to show either.
Is Midas a good choice considering you know what's coming, which is they already have Dream Coil, they have the Centaur ult, and they're gonna have a blink fairly soon on Centaur. Can you get away with the Midas this game on TA?
Usually you'll see TAs get blink. It's really good if you want to split push. It's really good at killing a Wisp, and it's really good at dodging relocate ganks, but that style is way out of favor. I think it'd be a better choice this game, but just from examining most of the TA play during the qualifiers, I'd say Midas is standard.
It seems a lot more popular in, say, like North America. You look at the Chinese scene especially, the players will almost always go phase, drums, BKB. I have yet to see a Midas on a Chinese TA. Not to say it's a better or worse build, but it definitely seems to be a regional pattern.
So level 6 on Fog. Any relocate targets for him? Bottom, not the ideal one. And bottom actually is very vulnerable. Korok wants to catch anybody out, so I don't know, Bulba's pushing up a little bit too far.
Man, this is this feels like 6.78 total almost. Yeah, there's a little bit of aggression early on, but Demon's just off in the jungle, stacking, pulling, and farming, looking for, I guess, that early 4 position drag. either team looking to get aggressive. For Liquid, they need the blink on X. That's the key for them. And NAR don't really need the blink, but it would help on the Centaur. In the meantime, Morphline's going to pick up a Midas. The farm wars begins. Game 1 looks like we're in the long haul. Do you think this is like an unexpected advantage in the lanes, or kind of a product of
Generally,
this line that we have?
Haste!
Blink dagger. Scary. Puck has the ultimate online, Centaur's the blink, and the stampede. And with Morphling Wisp, you basically have, if Puck goes for a gank, you've got 4 heroes who can essentially be there in some fashion. Another update. Replicate's about to die, but Liquid now firmly in the neck. No blink dagger yet on the axe. No real threat of a gank. That's the one issue with this lineup. Miranatos has hit level 6. I guess they could go for. It's kind of an underwhelming way to start.
this is really.
And they're already ready for it. They already have sentries.
NAR, I think, you can take some fights before they can get 6 and before X gets full dagger. X doesn't really have any but they don't really have any eyes on the heroes of Liquid. They just see these 2 heroes up top right next to the T1.
Ancient stacks have begun.
Radiant's
Morphling's
top
got Midas.
tower
He's
is
leading
under
in terms of
attack.
CS at 70-18, and we'll see 3 heroes group up mid. The Centaur has abandoned, well, not abandoned, but he's rotated off the off lane, looking for a potential gank.
Radiant's top tower
Or
is
is
under
he?
attack.
Might head to that top tower to pressure. Demon, meanwhile, he's cleaned up the stack, continues to farm. Just Liquid's positioning. They've got 5 heroes, like, basically in their own jungle or mid. Nobody even sitting bottom lane. They're pressuring top. Looks like there's a blink initiation. Here comes the relocate, looking for TC. They got off the combo. He'll leap into the enemy tower, but NAR, they strike first here in the top. Well, not first. They strike second and first. They get 2 kills, and now the score.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Having the best time in that Radiant alpha.
Gets caught out in middle. Post relocate, they TP'd in Bulba. He was just sitting there on top of the relocate. Found his buddy there. Just easily drops.
And he will have a blink dagger soon, so that's the key item. Oh, top lane looks like we're gonna have more aggression. The Centaur kills off the Wisp or the Wraith King, and now the push will come. And then a TA double will bottle up a double damager and pressure on the bottom side. So it looks like 2 towers being threatened right now by NAR. In comes Bulba looking for the initiation, but he'll get silenced. He will be forced back while the
Radiant's
top
middle
tower.
is under attack.
Probably gonna fall here. No real rotation in sight from Liquid, so they will take a tier 1.
Dire's top
Down
tower
it goes.
has fallen.
Denied.
Some technical issues, unfortunately.
Yes, monitor is strong.
So DD on TA, they could potentially sneak a Roshan in. Wraith King does have level 1 Vampiric Aura, but I don't know if they can do it under this sort of pressure from NAR. They don't really have anyone creating space on site. Once X gets his Blink Dagger,
Yeah, he does have the blink. That's like the only space creator they have, though.
It's still
Who else goes with the axe?
difficult for him to kill anyone. Centaur has 1150 HP, Morphling can just morph, Enchantress, and they're usually the ones that are jumping in and not just sitting farming quite well. Actually posed to kill Snake King. He might wait for a double melt strike.
One ready. The arrow, if that connects, that's a kill, but won't find Snake King, he'll just walk away.
We're being pretty patient there.
Too patient, perhaps.
The heck was that relocate?
Could at least get some
He
damage.
just relocate, or he just replicated and then just replicated to the illusion.
You're getting me confused, Ben. See the Wisp does relocate available, and I'm like, what's going on in this game? But yeah, the noose is slightly cinched here. Liquid no longer have their tier 1 top. They can't farm their own jungle safely. But who's going to apply pressure? Your axe goes in with a blink dagger. That's great, but what's the follow-up really? Well, they'll smoke mid. Looks like they'll try and make a play. I feel like they're the ones who have to make something happen. NAR, yeah, sure, Liquid can maybe threaten for Roche, but outside of that, in control of this game so far. Morphling up to 7k net worth. The smoke heads towards the bottom side of the map. 3 heroes could group. And that's about it. TA's off in the jungle, the Wraith King sitting mid, and they're a little wishy-washy.
They don't know what to do right now.
Looks like we're gonna try to hero build. Thanks, Gods.
Usually in
What's your favorite hero build here, Gods? You can't get rid of it. He's broken no observer interface. Off to a great start on day number 3.
Bulba's smoked up in middle, trying to catch him off guard with that blink dagger, but not able to really find any kills. And again, the stacked Morphling, he's going to be a huge problem. Usually we'll see Keeper Light pretty close to his quest for Ag Scepter. I think his usual time.
This Keeper Light is 1800 gold. He isn't. Ag Scepter is a distant thought at this point.
It really is, and they just don't know where to farm. Keeper Light can't push out lanes alone. He'll just get relocated on, and as will most of the other heroes. And TC is actually very, very underfarmed at this point.
Arrow is gonna connect somewhere. Sure where.
Usually they bank on winning,
Just a creep.
winning the offensive try as well as getting far an opponent's jungle in.
Wow, big dive on Demon. He's gonna TP out immediately. Already the coil's been dropped. Is there an adaptive strike? Can't get it off. Not sure if he's skilled it up yet. But the tower will fall. 2 towers down now for NAR. They've yet to give up a tower, and the pressure mounts bottom lane as they group up as 5. Keeper Light forced to TP out. That means he's not here to defend the tier 2, and they may not kill the tower, but they're going to do a whole lot of damage. And with Braxavia Blink, the threat of the dive is on. They'll get some vision here with the creep heading down the lane, and in comes an Invis-Gax. Can you find someone to chop? Come on, Moba. You've got a blink. It's chopping time. No, there's the sentry ward. So much for that.
This tower's in deny range. Not sure if NAR is going to let this go.
They have taken the tower trade, so not too bad for Liquid considering their position. Not too interested in taking fights. They will get a tower tonight bottom as well, so 2 good trades in a row. Korok phase shifting, but still tanks the Illuminate damage in spite of that. Meanwhile, bottom. Quick foot with a haste will rotate out. So he took the tier 1 top, now he goes back towards mid, and this will open the way up a bit towards a potential Roshan.
Fortunate that he got a haste rune on top. If he had any other rune, I think they would have just relocated and tried to kill him. And
do they actually have
farm the jungle.
Dust right now?
Centaur
currently. Okay, Centaur's got it. Can they Roche? They do have Wraith King, they have TA. They can tank the Roche for sure, but can they do it safely or quickly enough to pull a fast one at NAR is the question for Liquid.
I'm still not exactly sure why they went with the Axe pick. Axe just seems kind of out of place, I'd say, for their lineup.
It seems like teams that run X generally do one of 2 things. They run a 4-position X in the jungle, or they go aggressive tri-lane. And Liquid just kind of abandon the off-lane to run the X after the early stages. They'll go in mid, they find way through with the blink initiation. The ult will be popped, but immediately the Centaur ult deployed, and, well, just a replicate they're focusing on now. Send it in. Almost taunting Liquid with this.
Enchantress went Midas too, so both the Morphling and the Enchantress gearing up for late game, and late game wars, it still seems slightly tipped in favor of NAR just because of the big bag Morphling being able to shotgun anyone down, and TC, he's been getting a decent amount of farm on the Mirana in the other games that I've seen, but those have mostly been on the back of kills in the early game.
The games where Liquid has been winning, they win in the laning stage in this tournament. They get kills in the aggressive challenge, they at least break even. Quakefin normally dominates his 1v1 mid. He didn't get a 1v1 mid this game. He got a dual lane against him, and he's done very well in spite of that. He's got 7,200 gold, he's farming well, he hasn't been feeding, but end of the day, like you said, TC normally has been getting kills, and it's not the case this game. Liquid, this was the discussion point in the qualifiers, was when teams change things up against them, how do they adapt? When they don't get to run their standard aggressive trying where they've got the superior laning matchup, do they come out on top? Do they have a plan B? And so far, they seem like it. They've got to dig something out here.
I don't think their lineup is geared for this passive farming play. Looking at network charts, Morphling topping at 8,800. TA fairly closely behind, but I don't know, Mirana City at number 5 is a pretty big worry. I think Puck's actually going for perhaps a Dagon with the Staff of Wizardry.
I can get behind that.
I can get behind that.
You get the E-Blade on Morphling, you get a Dagon on the Puck, and it's fragging time.
We see Yules a lot too. It's a decent counter versus Axe. As soon as he puts in calls, you just Yules.
What is this ridiculous EO illusion? It's just not dying. This Axe does not know how to dunk fan. He's like he's a logger right now. He's trying to make wood.
Smoke up from the 4 heroes on Liquid, but Pegasus, I think they might actually note that there's smoke because he just channeled Illuminate.
The question is smoke into what? There's pressure mid, there's pressure top, and let's say they get a kill here on the mid lane. They kill off the Puck. Tier 1 up mid, NAR can respond to a potential Roche, and they're also threatening a tier 2 top. So, well, they'll go towards the bottom side of the map. Maybe looking for a tier 1 tower, but already 1437 with a Midas and an Urn. Oh, he gets caught by the Berserker's Fall. Probably in trouble. Arrow will follow this and gets dunked. Bulba finally gets on the board there with the chop. Now the Centaur counter initiation. The double Centaur! It's the Bash Bros in tow, and They'll find Bulba. He's spinning, but not able to get another chop off.
You almost done.
The Wisp is gonna die. Okay, returning soon. Can it tether out? Fogged. Run for it, my no
It's a
running.
little bit unfortunate. If it were like 2 seconds later, he would have been able to tether away, or been pretty close to tethering away.
So they lose 2 supports. They kill off the Axe, and they are forced to use a relocate. So not a bad trade for Liquid. And no real other trades for NAR. They're farming on the Morphling, but TA's still doing well.
Dire's
NAR
middle
is just
tower
doing a
is
much
under
better
attack.
job of making efficient use of the map. They were farming their opponent's jungle, so they can farm like pretty much this area over here fairly safely. And Liquids, they don't have the mobility of the double blinks, they don't have the mobility of the EO, or the mobility of the Morphling, so they're just getting out-farmed in general. 7,000 gold lead for NAR, and it's slowly mounting. But TA, I don't know. TA I view as like a mid-game hero, not like your typical Midas carrier, like a lot of teams have been running her.
Okay, BKB on TA. Does this change things? Can they do something
Not
with
really.
this?
She doesn't have any mobility, so how can she really get on the squishy targets that she wants to kill?
Do we see a chop? Just chop a creep, set up the TA chase.
Potentially.
I guess in theory she does have a bit of mobility. A leap, chop. It
So-
sounds nice on paper.
Necrobook on Korok instead of the Blink or sorry, instead of a Dagon or a Yules.
Well, they've got some annoying combos. Relocate into Necrobook, split push. Replicates can head all over the map as well, and
It's all for Wraith King.
they seem to be gearing up for a bit of split push. They get the Manta Style and the Morphling, so. Nice item versus Wraith King, you can Manta dodge the Wraith Fire Blast, but they just don't. NAR doesn't seem keen to take a fight, and Liquid, are they worried about that? Are they content with the farm war? Because that's what they're getting right now.
Call on top lane, going for
And
Brax.
comes the Axe, he's got a point booster, looking for the
Dire's
Centaur,
middle
Brax
tower
hiding in the
is under
trees.
attack.
Man, how did he
Dire's
scout that one coming?
structures are
Good map
fortified.
awareness from Brax.
Did they see anyone?
I don't think so. They don't
Rotate
have
off
any. They don't have any vision. Of
In fact, they're immediately split pushing mid, and they're gonna take a tier 1
Dire's
tower.
middle
Snaking gets
tower
less
has
hit.
fallen.
Suddenly, sitting on a pile of gold, and well, Korok threatens for a blink, but NAR just, again, threatening to get kills, not actually committing.
So now Roshan's a lot more difficult for Liquid. They're just walking around the map, not really accomplishing any kills due to the nice just split pressure here and there from NAR.
It's been a slow game, Ben. I'm really interested to hear what Synderen and Suns fan think about it. Let's see their opinions on the way the game's developed so far. If they have anything to say, as they're suddenly put on the spot. Have to put their headphones on. Scramble the fighter jets, boys. All right, let's get some voices in here. Guys, what do you think?
That was almost unfair. I wasn't ready for that. It came out of nowhere.
I didn't actually see you didn't have your headsets on. I'm just like, hey, let's put them on the
I
spot.
was just saying to Suns fan how smart the Necronomicon pickup is on the puck here. I really like that. It's not something we see that frequently, but it gives the true side against the Templar Assassin, and it has the mana burn against the Wraith Knight. Wraith Knight. Wow, I'm Zyori. Hi.
You really
the
missed it.
You Sayori'd that one, man.
So I feel like this is a really intelligent pickup, and as far as this game is going so far, it's what we were talking about before the game. Liquid very predictable, NAR intelligent drafters, put the lanes wisely, and they're just looking to be pretty much cruising through this game. They're gaining gold all the time, and Liquid aren't really accomplishing anything around the map.
So, is there anything Liquid can be doing that they're not right now? Like any mistakes they're making? Suns fan thoughts?
You're asking the absolute wrong guy, but I still will answer. I think they're giving a little bit of room here with farming and whatnot. I mean, you talked about how Demon doesn't have barely any farm, but he's starting to get some now. What was it, like 3 minutes ago? He had no point booster, he had no Ogre Club, and now he's given room to farm. And of course, doesn't matter how far under level you are with Keeper Light. If you find a little bit of time and space, you're going to get that farm, whether it's be in the
Radiant's
jungle
middle
or
tower is under
in the
attack.
actual lane itself. So, and I know
Okay.
how much of a fan Synderen is of the Axe Coddle, so.
They are starting to, I don't know if I'd say abuse, but try to take advantage of recall as they rotate them around top, and let's see what happens. Looks like we could have an engagement now. So in comes the blink. The call will catch out Snaking as well as Fog. Looking for the Fog kill, but he pops the mech. The dunk was really premature by Bulba. Hardly even scratching him, and now TC on the retreat out. Korok will come in with the orb, trying to finish him off. The Morphling dives towards the trees looking for Demon. They get the kill. They bring down TC, but there is a TP out. In the end, Demon lives, but they lose the bigger hero. That's the TA, or the Mirana. And is there a trade? The TA's into the Roche pit, working with the Wraith King to try and bring this Roche down, and NAR, no Centaur ultimate, no Puck ultimate. Looks like Liquid may pull a fast one here and take the rush. So Ben, what do you think?
I don't think it's that significant. I think they're pretty much guaranteed to get Roshan at some time in the game. It's just a matter of when. And at this point, even with a Aegis on Qualifier, they still can't win pretty big team fights just because NAR has so much more burst, so much mobility, and the mech on Wisp too. That just completely saved them from getting dunked on.
And Snakane he's farming. He's got the already working. Is it even an E-Blade? I mean, maybe he just goes Butterfly and goes for the ultra late game at this point, but whatever he wants to get, he's scary already.
Imagine double E-Blade with Centaur after he gets a heart. That's pretty sick. We're gonna see it, guys.
That was the like the new theory craft after they changed the Centaur or the E-Blade so that it's based on not just agility but on whatever your base stat is.
I've seen
It's
Pudge
actually really
EV.
good.
Yeah. Yeah, Pudge E-Blade. That was the ultimate shenanigans pickup in theory. Well, they'll go top lane. They'll bring down the tier 2 tower and goes the way of Korok. NAR just tightening the noose at this point. 5 heroes top lane. They do lose a tier 1 bottom. Quakefoot doing what he can to split push, but now they trail by 11k gold and, well, you just see a Puck farming top lane, pushing into the tower. The Necrobook's there, like Cinder mentioned, very annoying for the Wraith King, the team fights, but outside of that, just they don't have the best counter push, really. What are you laughing at here, Cinder?
He just denied the melee necro with the ranged necro.
Okay.
It doesn't actually get the last will though. That's pretty interesting.
Huh. It doesn't work on denies, I guess?
It works. I'm not.
No, it doesn't work.
Okay.
I think 1437 and Brax have played really well this game. They dominated the Axe, and Axe has had almost no... Was he had one dunk this game? How often do you see that with an Axe solo against a melee hero?
Apparently Bulba can't dunk. Any tips, guys?
For Liquid?
No, for Bulba.
For Bulba? Jump
How
higher?
to dunk? Question mark.
I feel like that initiation Liquid took top lane with the 3-man gank was pretty close to working out, but that mech from Io just put Morphling back to full health and then it failed. I think the issue Liquid has right now is the distribution of their farm. Qualifier is keeping up nicely. If he's not involved in these ganks, every single fight is just a massive deficit. If you look at the net worth right now, Qualifier has pretty much the combined net worth of Mirana and X, their 2 other cores. So if you don't include the Templar Assassin in these ganks, you're just flat out gonna lose every single one of them. I feel like there's so much pressure on him, and if Qualifier doesn't perform now, for me, this game is over.
Yeah, they've put a lot of eggs in the Quakefoot basket, and, well, the Morphling's got a lot more backup. Bulba gets caught by a coil here, and now the Blink Stomp comes, in comes the relocate. Easy kill for NAR. Do they push off of this?
Yes.
Okay,
They should.
let's see.
It's a
As soon as you say yes, they bet.
I think it's a decent opportunity for them to do so.
They can at least, like, threaten, maybe try and force on X buyback. Well, the relocate goes back bottom.
It's just going to be much harder once Keeper Light gets a Scepter, which is coming out at 600 gold. And it's already fairly difficult, but I think they can get
Is it actually that much harder? Morphling's got an E-Blade, Manta. He can easily just destroy that Keeper of the Light.
Well, you can just dump it like way behind the tower. I think he's pretty well fortified. They have plenty of sustain with Enchantress Heal, with the mech, and they can even tank tower fairly easily with the Replicate Centaur or the Morphling Manta illusions. I think it's a pretty good opportunity for them to at least get maybe like a third damage on the tower.
To be fair, I guess Demon is the inventor of the Quelling Blade / Force Staff in the Tree shenanigans, Keeper of the Light. And yeah, as you see, he does have the Quelling Blade, just... He's good at finding those odd places, but sometimes he reveals his position and feeds. So.
I think with NAR's really good initiation, it's actually a pretty smart move to get double blade mill. You don't always see it on Wraith King every single time, but obviously Axe is more normal. You saw Morphling almost kill himself because of the blade mill, but of course with the sustainability Wisp, it's just, I don't know how realistic that's going to be.
Yeah, and they have the mech tether, so you can drop low and potentially just
As
feel
long
right
as you
back
don't
to flight
insta-give
speed.
yourself, I guess,
Yeah.
then you're fine.
I just worry about Liquid's position in this game. Like they're not leaving their base. There's 5 heroes farming, and what's their late game? We talked about TA. Do you really want to go late game when there's a Puck who can build a Hex? You've got Morphling Wisp. The Enchantress went for a Midas, so it's not like 1437 will be useless later on. He can actually be a big threat. No, they're up against it for me. Liquid, I feel like 3 of these heroes, the Axe, the Keeper of the Light, even the Wraith King. Yeah, Blade Mail's nice if they go on you, but NAR can potentially just ignore them.
Or just get BKB on Morphling. They really don't have anything against BKB on Morphling. Yeah, sure, TA can do some physical damage, but if he just mantas and focus her, she's gonna drop pretty quickly.
Well,
Curious about what you guys think about Enchantress' skill build. I feel like these days we see
we see a lot more untouchable.
Max Untouchable
Yeah.
almost every time. I'm wondering what the reasoning is, because he's playing against a Templar Assassin, a Mirana, and a Wraith King. I would say, like, Untouchable is pretty good in this game, so... do you have a good reasoning behind this? Like, what
I
would
guess
you do?
the one thing is normally we see more untouchable Max when you're dire, because you can go Roche early. And NAR, not really a great team. Maybe at this point they could go threaten Roche. But that's my only
Maybe
thoughts
he
on it.
expects mass BKB from Liquid, and where Untouchable is not very useful. Which, I mean, it's gonna happen sometime.
Okay.
I feel like NAR is just showing a lot of patience this game. They're not forcing the issue. They know that the Aegis can be reclaimed in about a minute, and they have all the space on the map right now, so they can pretty much do whatever they want.
Trap is in the pit, and NAR, they will know when the Roche respawns. We'll see the Aegis reclaimed in 30 seconds. Liquid have not really done much with this Aegis. They've farmed, basically.
It's buying them time, but for what? TA is
Yeah.
not your best late game. I wouldn't even say she's like top 10 in terms of late game. She's decent, but a Morphling is just going to be so much more powerful. I think he's gearing up for a Scotty soon.
I feel like TA is so much stronger when you've got some other physical damage dealer to go with the meld, or to increase her own damage, and they don't really have that.
she's just a primary target right now, and she'll just get focused by everything. If she doesn't pop her BKB, let's say before a Hex from Pug, they're gonna die. If she doesn't pop her BKB before Blink Centaur Stomp, she's gonna die, and they don't really have a great way to save her.
And there's Enchantress. I mean, at this point, 1437 is getting close to that 10k mark. Should have the Aghanim Scepter if he doesn't already. And I think it's flying out right now on the Courier, in fact. Yep, there you go. He's big.
Also, I think a point we haven't really talked about too much is the Templar Assassin, like the way refraction works. If you're playing against an Necronomicon and a Manta-style Morphling, if she's your late game core, that refraction is going to be a non-factor. I really like the item build from Snake King for that reason. I think he did get the Manta first, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes,
He got that
yes,
before
yeah.
the E-Blade, so I feel like that was a targeted item just at dealing with TA, because he knows that's the biggest threat on the enemy team, that's the hero you item build against, and yeah, in late game, you know how fast Morphling hits. Refraction is like a non-factor. You pop Manta half a second after it's gone.
Yeah, he's gotten off 2 attacks on every illusion / the hero. and
Moonlight
it's
Shadow
done.
on top, not really sure what they're aiming for this.
This is a tough gank. You know there's a relocate to come in here. Brax does have the Blink Dagger. Looks like we'll have an initiation, but no, they'll get out in time. Now the relocate comes. The turnaround's here. Korok lands the Dream Coil. That catches quite a few. Bulba's gonna drop already. 3 heroes dead. Wraith King will respawn now with the ultimate, but can he make his way out? Miss Snaking on the hunt with the Wisp here. He's done as well. The King has fallen. The real King is showing his true colors top lane.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
What the heck with that orb? He orb like right as X was about to blink, and then phase shifted, and then the game just fell apart from there. So we've seen 2 instances on top where NAR just completely dodge a bullet.
That was a very questionable chase, to be fair.
What they're kind of
They're up against it.
Yeah.
Like, they have to force things, and that's where NAR can easily punish with relocate.
Can you guys tell me why Centaur has been
is under attack.
falling off in this tournament a bit?
I think it's just personally, I think the hero's still really strong, and I feel like it's more of just a regional preference thing, you know, like trend-based, but...
okay.
What do you guys think?
Well, he's half man, half horse, so obviously he's amazing. But I feel like
I
even
love
with,
your insight.
that's what I'm here for, man.
That's why we brought him in.
Even
Middle
without
tower is
any,
under
like,
attack.
let's pretend you don't have a Morphling Wisp combination with great initiation. His ultimate gives your entire team good initiation, so it's...
And the hero's just
Still
really
okay.
annoying to deal with as an offlaner, like one of the harder to... Well, Snake King just gonna head back to Fountain, and Fog relocates to try and bring him back as well. Well, they might go back in here. Let's see. They go for a kill. They do have a potential gank bottom lane, setting up his Bulba, but who's catching out who? He'll call Snake King, then the Wraith Fire Blast comes out, trying to bring out Snake King. He's quite tanky. He shotguns down Bulba, then he waveforms away. Fog will tank and illuminate to the dome, but should be okay. He'll retreat out.
They didn't do any damage to the Morphling, and as Cinder was talking about, without the TA there, they can't do anything. They got it
That
down
was-
to like
yeah.
90%.
He's got a Daedalus as well. Like, even if the I don't know, man. Just don't have the deeps.
Nope.
This is where you need that Elder Titan.
Yes.
That will. We saw that highlight
You see
from the
his
game
armor
you
right
guys
now?
were
He
casting.
has
That'll
30
deal with the
he has
Morphling.
32 armor. 30 armor without the healer.
And he's got Manta Style. If he ever gets in trouble, he can just start Strength Morphing mid lane. Looks like the pressure will mount. We'll try and slow this push down, but again, Snake King goes in. The real King. Wraith King ain't got nothing on Snake King. They'll bring down Quickfoot as well. It's 3 heroes still dead. Axe about to respawn, but the Rack's in jeopardy. NAR, they're pushing it to the limit, and a mass of GGs come out, and NAR just... It was a slow game, but it was a very deliberate and one-sided affair. This has been the story of Liquid. Like, even at TI3, even before, like, after TI2, they would find one strategy that really worked for the team, and they would just run the strategy into the ground.